On 3 point. Ready,
Mads
guys?
Mikkelsen.
Listo?
Yep.
Listo, Calisto?
Dude.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to our wonderful review of Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. This is Ahab. This is the Goontick. I am the Guardian. We had just we had just finished watching this prequel, if you will, for the original series.
All right. Not a wordsmith, are you?
Not quite.
Right.
But anyways, we got to finish watching Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. I've already seen it twice. These folks have seen it once. Overall thoughts so far?
Well, before we even go there, I just want to clarify everybody's stance on Star Wars in general.
Prequels, like.
Well, go ahead. Let's pretend the prequels existed before the original trilogy. Let's just go down the line and say your position on Star Wars.
Part 1 and 2 are terrible. As in episode 1 and 2 are terrible. I actually liked the third one. I find 4 fun. Empire is freaking great. And New Hope is half great, half freaking steaming pile of turd.
You mean Return?
Yeah, Return, whatever.
See, me.
Yeah, you're missing one.
Oh yeah, you're missing.
Oh, Force Awakens, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Force Awakens is great. It's
Okay.
like a good New Hope.
All right. Go ahead.
Prequels suck. Although Part 3 had some, or Episode 3 had some, it had some good shots. It had some good stuff in it to actually make me not want to vomit and or die from the boredom that I saw in Episode 2. New Hope was fun. It was cool. I mean, it was a bit kiddish in my opinion, but it was fun. It was cool. Empire Strikes Back was I think is the best one in the entire saga, including Episode 7. It felt like a different film in the saga. Episode 6, I mean, it had moments, but it was lacking in my opinion.
Those Ewoks stunk it up.
And Episode 7, great, wonderful, good start to the new trilogy, I guess.
Okay. I'm the outspoken George Lucas hater. I despise.
We all hate Lucas. Lucas is a piece of shit.
I despise the prequels. I hate the prequels. I see nothing in there worth my time. There are in Part 3. There are some things here and there that, I mean, I guess you kind of have to accept if you, whatever. But I despise the prequels. I was actually one of the people that was glad when people were ultimately disappointed in them. I hate them. New Hope, I appreciate its position in cinematic history. I was never a tremendous fan of it, but I do appreciate what it means and what it stands for. I understand why people were big fans of it. I always thought it was a bit kiddish, childish. It didn't feel like it had any gravity to anything that was going on.
Any depth?
Yeah, and that ending was kind of like, oh, well, that's definitely a kid's movie. However, Empire, man, that is a sci-fi classic, and like the Guardian pointed out, it feels like a completely different film, and it is. You actually feel the gravity of the situation that the rebels are in for once. I think,
and right from the jump, you're like,
yes.
This is a different movie.
Yes, it's like you're thrown into the trenches, so to speak, and there is no denying that Empire is a cinematic masterpiece of its kind, sci-fi adventure classic. I love it. Return of the Jedi, missed opportunity if there was ever one. I mean, there was so much crap in that movie, and they missed so many opportunities. It's almost pathetic. Really, what saves it for me is Han Solo. I guess, even though he's kind of forced in there somewhat.
I was gonna say, man, he's pretty shitty in that too.
It's kind of like a New Hope for me. He saved it for me, but really I wasn't enthused about it. Force Awakens, a good version of New Hope, I guess. A version that I can enjoy of New Hope. So I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. So going back to your starting point, Guardian, let me just start by saying that as the non-Star Wars fan that I am, not a hater, just non-Star Wars fan, I love Empire, and the rest are pretty much whatever. Force Awakens I enjoy, but whatever. I absolutely, positively love Rogue One. It is the first movie in the Star Wars saga that has made me feel like the universe is absolutely real. 100% these people exist, or existed, I guess, since it took place in the past. It just felt real, man. It felt like I was somewhere. It felt like things were actually happening that meant something. And so, to answer your question, first impression, wow. 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 I'm speechless.
Want to change your pants there, son?
I already did.
Freaking crispy ass loons over here.
So the goon tick. What were your initial thoughts of Rogue One?
I didn't like it. Everybody died.
Seriously.
We actually heard that.
Yeah, that was
coming out
complete
of the
garbage.
trailer.
You mean the movie?
Or whatever.
Yeah. We actually heard some people discussing it, and one fan, quote unquote, was unhappy with the fact that everyone died in it. Now, going into the production and knowing what you know from A New Hope, you know that everyone's gonna die, right? I knew that from the very beginning.
This is a movie that should have been
obvious.
called Suicide Squad.
Definitely. But you know,
Check
go
out
ahead.
our Suicide Squad review. But yeah, it was pretty great, man. I was pretty impressed.
It was pretty impressed.
I was pretty impressed, I said.
So this movie,
Yeah.
like I mentioned before in my personal review of it, is directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla. He has a way of basically making you feel very small in a gigantic world.
Yeah, we saw that with Godzilla.
Yeah,
definitely.
perfectly. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a master at that, in my opinion.
It's
He goes into movies.
it's almost like a docudrama approach to it. No, actually not a documentary approach to it. I'm sorry, because you are like that man on the street, and we felt it to a superb effect in Godzilla.
Yeah.
Where you felt the size
It was like
and the immensity of the situation.
The only reason to watch that in 3D, and it was the only movie I liked in 3D, was because it made you feel like, oh shit, I'm in this.
Like it perfectly defined the scope of
Yeah.
what you're actually like. It immersed you really well into the story itself, as opposed to like showing you like far away shots and anything of a tiny monster with tinier ass people. That's right, tinier. But yeah, he really does a really good job of immersing you into this massive world, and like how he said, it felt real for once. Like it felt like you were a small pog in it. So basically, the plot to Rogue One is essentially the opening crawl of A New Hope, essentially.
Yeah, everybody knows the plot.
Yeah, the plot is.
If you go into this movie not understanding what the hell, where it takes place,
Then you're an idiot.
Why the hell are you watching the movie? Go watch the movies.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you this: if this was the first movie to come out before any of the other movies, it would have probably been a little confusing for people because you're just straight immersed into this
It just
world.
throws you in
Immediately, and that's a good thing because we should not have to at this point retread anything. We should not have anything spoon fed to us. Nothing. In
And
fact,
it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, I've seen all the movies, and even then, I kind of have to like occasionally pause and be like, "Oh, right, that's what they're talking about." Not mind you, it
Especially
doesn't
the
happen.
prequels.
It doesn't happen too much, but there is some stuff where it just doesn't bother explaining because it assumes you know.
see, that was part of the strengths of the original trilogy. That is to say,
throws
episodes
you
4
in.
to 6. It throws you in, and the universe is created through the application of dialogue. What people say, what people refer
Yeah.
to. That's how the universe was created, and it worked fantastically there for those movies. In some points, it was the only saving grace of them, Return of the Jedi. But in this movie, they managed to build the universe not only using that, but mostly depending on literally throwing you in the midst of it. So there is no denying what you're seeing. You're there. You feel like one of those people that are going to on this mission. You're there. You're seeing everything. You as a casual Star Wars viewer, it was a sense of wonder. I can for once say that I understand what maybe those kids in the 70s saw when they saw Star Wars. A sense of wonder. Because the guy, Gareth Edwards, captured that, not by saying things in dialogue, by literally putting you in the middle of everything. And it was fantastic.
And let's talk about that notion también. Well, also, I guess. But the main character in this movie is basically Felicia Jones' character, Jen Erso. you basically see the eyes to her, like she's basically the Luke Skywalker and the Rey of the original series and the Force Awakens. You basically see the story through her eyes, but it's such a personal story initially. Like the first half of it is such a personal story between her and the emotion of her father and losing her family. Essentially, you don't actually like you. It uses that to propel you into this world, and as her emotions develop further and deeper for her father and everything else, you actually see the progression of this character and the progression of her purpose. And when she finally develops a solid purpose for what she's doing, it basically she takes you with her very perfectly and very flawlessly into the essentially the suicide aspect of it later on in the film.
It justifies a lot of people. I read some reviews where a lot of people were kind of thrown off by her kind of like standoffish demeanor and stuff like that. But the movie perfectly explains that she has been severely affected by abandonment issues.
It's not like she ever comes off annoying.
No, those weren't the complaints. They were talking about how she's not a relatable character because she's not really there. But in terms of the film, this is a character that has literally become, for lack of better words, a kind of like a standalone rogue figure in her own life, because she's been plucked out of her existence with her family and thrown into, basically a criminal life, when she was with Saw. So she has the big theme of the movie is hope. Okay, so she has lost all hope, so much so that she doesn't care about the Alliance. She doesn't care about anything,
and she's lost everything as well.
Yes, and she latches on to the idea of her father, who even when we meet her in the movie in her grown-up years, in her adult years, she has that hope in her father's kind of fading, because she knows what he's supposed to be according to the rebels. So she has no hope, and she communicated that. And so it ultimately, when she comes to this cathartic point in the movie where her hope is reinvigorated, then her cause is reinvigorated. She latches onto the Alliance's cause, and we justify her going into this mission with renewed vigor.
Well, even then she goes against the rebels because they don't want her to go.
Exactly,
because of her purpose.
But she knows that her father was right, and for that reason alone, she is willing to die for this cause. So
she's willing to fight for that cause at that point in the movie. She's ready to fight. She's ready to.
No, they knew they were gonna die, dude.
Well, yeah, but she was ready.
But see, that only underlined the fact that she knew it was a dead end mission, but that the purpose and the point of it would feed not only the fact that her father was a good man, but that her purpose in life was now driven by this one thing. I mean, that just it underlined. I don't understand that criticism that there was no life to that character. I don't understand. It was kind of like a metamorphosis that she underwent. So
essentially, yeah.
I don't understand that criticism.
I think it's because a lot of especially considering it's a Star Wars movie, a lot of the shit is done kind of subtly, really
very
subtly.
Very subtle.
So I could see someone missing that if they're fools.
Yeah, that's true.
Because people are so used to being told this is what's happening, especially with the prequels. They're basically told this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, and you kind of accept it. But in this movie. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, okay.
Well, basically in Rogue One, you see that through other means as opposed to being told directly, this is what's happening. And that's really one of the best parts of this film.
Yeah, I agree. For once, acting matters.
The one thing that I kind of picked up on really quick was that despite the scope being huge, it feels really small.
Yeah, like the basic drive of the plot is a very personal story for Jyn Erso and her father, Galen Erso. It doesn't
feel ridiculous
or over the top at all.
Like massive or anything. It just kind of feels like a story, a Star Wars story. Come on.
I think one of the things that
I mean, until the end where the battle.
Well, yeah.
In terms speaking on scope, the scope is massive because of the implications of the mission. Yeah. But the fact that we're stuck with this little band of
the
characters,
way they show it makes it feel like it doesn't feel like ludicrous. You know what I mean? It never comes off as ridiculous.
Yeah, which is good because if they would have gone for, prequel size idiocy,
space opera,
then this would have been a terrible movie. But they did the right thing. We know what the implications of their missions are, or of their mission are. Now let's focus on the small group of people and the big things they do in such a small way, so to speak. Which brings me to this. One of the biggest things that I read another review that said that it cheapened the effect of A New Hope. I think this appreciated the position of A New Hope.
The whole point was
sacrifice,
the hope,
and hope
at the end.
Forget that. Just on I mean, obviously, right? A New Hope, hope. That's the big drive of the movie. But even on such a small scale, little details that just make this make A New Hope much more important. From Tarkin's appearance to Vader, and the most important thing for me was that they covered up one of the biggest and stupidest things in A New Hope for me, and that's that this Death Star would have the stupidest, weakest flaw ever. I always found that retarded.
No shit, man.
And for once, now we're given a reason, and it's
perfectly awesome reason.
Yes, Jin's father is basically designed a big fuck you to the Empire. Yeah, man, that was great.
What we're talking about basically is Galen Erso is one of the top scientists.
He basically just said it.
Yeah, but Galen Erso is one of the top scientists of the Imperial Army, and he was tasked with developing a super weapon in the Death Star. He knew that the Empire would create it without him. So as opposed to not doing it or basically defying them, he did it. But he, as he said, everything created this massive flaw as his last act of revenge, and gave the rebels that lasting hope that despite this super weapon being developed and being built, they still have hope that it can be destroyed. And going on his point, that is one of the biggest things that even smart Star Wars fans are like, yeah, that's kind of dumb, and it is kind of dumb, but it's perfectly explained in this story, essentially in this personal story between
and it's not just explained like brushed over. It's an integral part of this entire the fabric of this story.
It doesn't feel like, oh shit, we need to explain this.
Right, yeah. And so I mean, damn, that to me was like, wow. It did not cheapen A New Hope. It took A New Hope with it to a new level. Period. Now I can see A New Hope in a new light. I have a new hope for A New Hope. Because of this movie. So one thing that we can't deny is that the effects are possibly the best we've seen in the Star Wars series.
Are pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
freaking Tarkin alone.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna just say that a big criticism, I should say, a point of contention, I should say, for some people are the appearance of Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia. Some people found the effect unconvincing.
Really?
Some people did not. What are your opinions? Well, apparently your opinions are.
It looked like him.
Did you find the effect convincing or not?
If I didn't know it was CG and if I didn't know this guy was dead, I wouldn't have freaking noticed.
Yeah. There was one review that I actually read and saw where they basically complained that that's CGI, and they lashed onto that fact. It doesn't look
like CG though. It looks great.
Yeah, I thought it looked fantastic. It's a frog's hair away from being super realistic. It's a fantastic effect, and it achieves what it achieves, and it does it wonderfully. I tell that it was fake? Yeah, I could tell big time, but it looked fantastic. I mean, I don't know how to communicate that.
I don't think, honestly, I think if you show this to like someone who doesn't know this dude's dead, doesn't know there's like 30 years or 40 years at this point between these movies, they would be convinced that is an actual person. Yeah, because it did not look fake to me.
I don't think so. I mean,
now Leia looked a little more fake, but freaking Tarkin looked top.
Yeah, I'm not denying the effect is wonderful. It is wonderful. This is one time where I think maybe them going back and updating the effects might just benefit it because it's, like I said, it's like this close to being just perfect.
See, like,
I'm not complaining about it. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
but I could still see the glossy skin effect.
I couldn't.
But I was clear as day to me. But anyway, I'm not complaining about that. It is a wonderful effect. It's like if Peter Cushing was there.
Yeah, I couldn't.
I agree.
I am freaking pretty sensitive to that shit. Like, Patrick Stewart in X-Men Wolverines was terrible.
That was
bad.
putty face.
That was bad.
And yeah, like, it never bothered me. It never looked fake. I mean, obviously it's CG because freaking dude's dead, but I thought it was freaking convincing as hell. Leia was a little more obvious in my opinion.
Yeah, Leia was a little bit more like, yeah, that's fake. But I mean,
Tarkin was in there for a long time. Considering how long he's in there,
yeah,
it's surprising that it never looked like, at least not even once, it looked like, God.
Yeah, like I mean, we've seen enough films to know when something's completely putrid and stuff.
Yeah.
In this one, we knew that it was CGI. We knew that Leia was CGI,
great.
but it looked convincing to me. I mean, I was like, that's Peter Cushing essentially.
The voice is pretty
pretty on point as well.
The effect is wonderful. I'm not denying that. Me personally, it didn't bother me, but I could tell it was fake as hell. But I'm not saying that fake as hell isn't a bad thing. But I don't I'll go around and come to say this. I don't understand why it bothers people. The guy is dead. The effect is wonderful.
And considering that, I mean, it looks freaking great.
So I don't understand.
It's the best thing you can have without having the actual actor.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So
the guy that got to do the voice is perfect.
We're really a step away from maybe even bringing this type of technology to.
Like, Tarkin is freaking badass. Like, he's one of the few badass things in The New Hope. To see him back, it was like, damn, dude.
Okay. So let's go to characters then. What were your favorite characters besides in the movie?
Okay. Tarkin, because it's Tarkin, and despite the fact that he's in it for like a second, freaking Vader's appearance is badass.
Well, which appearance are you talking about? The first one or all of them?
But
because like
in the final part where he comes out and he's like kicking ass and shit.
For the first time ever, I think we see Darth Vader kicking massive ass.
Dude.
Yeah.
Whoever was the guy doing like the movements, they got a massive dude. Because he looked freaking imposing, dude. And like he had the serial killer walk down, and it was great.
And that not opening shot, but that opening shot to the scene essentially, where the rebels are trying to get up past the gate.
Don't ruin anything. Don't ruin
it. I guess. Anyways.
Anyway, he's going down the hallway kicking ass. It's cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's cool.
The guy's freaking body is great. That sounds gay, but that dude freaking pulled it off. Obviously, freaking what's his face is back doing the voice, and he does sound older. But I would say freaking Tarkin. The Asian dude was cool. And
played by Donnie Yen.
Yeah, that's it.
What about
that's my favorite ones?
What about
director?
You? What about you, Guardian?
I thought,
I want to hold on. I want to add to that. Like, honestly, to me, none of them really stood out too much. The Asian dude was cool. But it's not really like I didn't think any of them was really badass or anything. They were just kind of cool to be in there.
What about Cassian Andor?
No. Matt Nicholson's cool.
Okay, Guardian. Your favorite characters?
I thought the people she latched onto, Donnie Yen's character, the other one, the bearded guy.
Donnie Yen's partner.
Mm-hmm.
Their names were Chirrut and. The other guy was Baze.
That's right. Those two characters were really good. They were.
Yeah, see, that's the beard guy I didn't really like that much.
I see. Well, I thought that their, I guess, chemistry was okay. Yeah. It was awesome to see.
It's more like that. Like I said, like that's what I was trying to say. Like it's more about their chemistry than any one character in particular, in my opinion.
I thought Captain Cassian Andor was pretty awesome. He was cool. He had a dimension to play with, and the actor played really well with him, Diego Luna. He actually played that complexity really well, I thought.
Yeah, he was good.
We haven't talked about the villain, director.
The villain was played by Ben Mendelsohn, and it was Krennic. His name was Krennic.
Dr. Krennic.
He
was, I thought, especially evil. I thought he had the nice Empire evilness to himself.
Yeah, when the movie opened, it kind of reminded me of Inglourious Bastards. You know, the setup
much.
to Inglourious Bastards.
Pretty much.
So he would be the equivalent of Christoph Waltz's character in Inglourious Bastards, basically.
Only Christoph Waltz is
only not that cool.
Yeah.
But he did a good job. You know, he was kind of like the Grand Moff Tarkin of this movie, I guess. You know, maybe not with that, you know, gravitas, but you know.
I mean, he gets freaking owned.
I do feel this. So when the final confrontation happens between him and Jin, I felt that the wrong person did away with the villain.
That's true.
I felt that, I don't know if that was a change that they affected there, but I was kind of like, wow, that's kind of a cop-out. But I'm not saying that as a complaint. I felt maybe somebody else deserved that.
I guess
that I'm trying not to ruin it. Is why I'm stumbling with words. Somebody else deserved to do away with the villain, but I mean that's maybe just a nitpick for me. But I felt it kind of like was a weak moment in a perfect script and a perfect movie or near perfect movie.
The robot was cool.
Yes, for once we get a robot that's not freaking annoying as hell and is actually useful. We're talking what was his name? K2SO?
K2SO.
Yeah.
He was cool. He was really...
He's basically the comic relief
only
of
cool.
the movie. Not annoying as hell.
Yeah, what I want to say is that comic relief, but it's not like every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not like, now we got to have a joke.
It's not forced at all,
kind of,
in my opinion.
Yeah, it's used pretty sparingly, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the only source of comic relief. He is the central source of comic relief. And the comic relief comes at appropriate moments, and it helps you kind of relate to these people. So, like Guntik pointed out, it's not so much about a specific character being cool, although I thought plenty of characters were awesome in this. But it is really a team movie, and everybody contributes something integral. Not only it's like the team is the character, and everybody contributes something unique to that team. Man, Donnie Yen's character, his partner were amazing. Their exchanges were awesome. I love those guys. I wish this is the feeling at the end of the movie. I wish these people didn't die because I would have loved to see more of them because they were awesome to be around. Even the Imperial pilot, he was cool, man.
He was actually
I
cool.
mean, everybody was so cool.
Yeah, like that's one of the things that like I didn't really think the beard guy was that cool. Like there wasn't enough of him, in my opinion, to make him cool. But I didn't dislike him.
Baze.
Yeah.
But like his character, like how he points out, he doesn't really say much. He doesn't really.
Yeah.
He kind of reminded me of the Indian guy in Predator.
Like, well, not that cool.
His silence, although he's not silent, but it's more of his presence and how he plays off of his partner.
It's more of that, yeah. He's more of that kind of character.
But everybody does this in this team. Everybody kind of gravitates to each other out of need.
Yeah.
You know, the situation they're in makes them gravitate to each other, and they depend. Everybody is essential to this plot happening. You know, for them to steal these plans, everybody needs everybody in some way or another. So everybody in the team is there for a reason. Not like in the prequels where they just stuff people in for no damn reason. Or even in some of the original trilogy.
I want to say that. Like, they do have, obviously, they have the cutaways to, like, aliens and shit. But it's never lame.
And it's
it makes you actually feel the world you're in.
Which I want to say is something Force Awakens did very well, too.
Yeah.
But to some extent, yeah.
Well, I think it did great. What? Anyway, yeah, like it's used more as like they're not shown as in like, oh, look at this effect. It's like that's just part of this rebellion.
It's part of that universe. It's part of that world,
including the Akbar race coming back. They're cute.
Yeah, there was cameos character cameos which I read some reviews that bitched about that they were too distracting. Not at all.
No.
C-3PO and
The only
R2-D2 had to be there because apparently you have to put the droids and everything.
That was the only one that was a little bit of a stinker,
Yeah,
but even then it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was literally like 10 seconds.
Not even, dude.
And they say a line,
it was like a throwaway line
that actually has to do with something that's going on there. And so it's kind of a cool little bit of fan service, I guess. If you like the droids, which I hate C-3PO, R2-D2 at least can do something, but anyway,
that was the one that came closest to a stinker. The rest were fine.
Yeah, the rest of the little nods
Tarkin, I wouldn't even call a cameo. He's a full-on role.
And Vader, I mean, he's massively cool in it. So
yeah,
even Leia's in it for like a second, but she's important to like
it's important.
Yeah, so that isn't that, but that like you have to expect her in it. And the way she was portrayed, it was pretty cool.
Even if somebody did no reading up on this movie at all, which I did basically no reading up on it. I read a few reviews that were mostly spoiler free, but of course I know the movies, so I can sort of kind of tell you the feeling of this is that let's assume I had done zero absolute reading on this. The movie builds up so well, it's so fine-tuned that despite the fact that you're around characters that for the most part you've never been introduced to, I mean, besides the ones here or there that are, and even they have such small parts that they're really negligible, but even though you're around these characters that you basically don't know, you see the points where they set up the beginnings of A New Hope. So when those moments hit, the ultimate being Leia, getting the plans. When those moments hit, and there are a few here and there in the movie, it was exciting, man. It kind of made me well up with excitement. Like, man, that was such a good setup, And it's amazing that they did it with people that are relatively unknown. I mean, they're characters created specifically for this movie, mostly. So I thought that was an amazing achievement that they managed to balance what we know it's building up to with these people that we're just thrown into the muck with, and they did it so wonderfully. Any other thoughts, guys?
So far, we've pretty much hit the nail on the head on this one. I enjoyed it second time around. I was able to appreciate it more. Like I said in my initial review of it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I'm gonna have to see it again.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you guys got this notion of it, but when I ended
No, that's not why. I have to see it again because there was a person behind me talking the entire goddamn time, giving their little shitty ass commentary for every little thing that happened. It was pissing me off.
Right.
So I have to see it again.
That's a personal thing that you have to deal with yourself. Now, like to my point, when I first saw it, the emotional gravitas of everything that was being thrown.
See, I didn't really get that. Like, everybody's saying it's too emotional. It's not really.
Well, I mean,
it is absolutely an emotional. It's a tour de force of emotion because you know
what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen? You know the implications of it, and unless you're not involved with these characters at all, then I don't see how you could not. I mean, I'm not criticizing for your point of view. I'm just saying I don't see how you could not care enough for these characters that when they die and what it means that they're doing.
I get it. Shit. It's just not. Personally, I was like, all right.
That just boggles my mind. I mean,
It's not an emotional movie. I mean, okay, it's cool, it's great, but I never once oh man, these people are gonna die. I was always like, they're gonna die. Maybe it's because I knew.
I don't think it's so much that they're gonna die. It has to do with their sacrifice, what it means. Yeah, I mean, like what it means for their characters.
The closest person was the chick, but other than that, I mean, it never felt like as heavy as I hear people saying it is, to me at least.
That's crazy, man.
Well, I guess going on his point is that he knew what was going to happen, so let's just move forward. Let's move forward.
I mean, I knew what was going to happen. I just don't.
No, honestly, I think it's just because freaking person behind me sucked the weens.
I guess. Personal story. Yeah. I mean, I just speaking for myself. I was heavily invested in these characters, and it's amazing that they introduce you like this.
Let me try to say, like, okay. to me, in my opinion, there isn't enough given for me to care about the beard guy. I didn't really ever care about him until the end when he died. The Asian guy's cool, but that's about it. The droid's cool. Like the only people that I could really care about was the chick and like your dad and maybe the captain guy.
But see, you have to realize that these people, the Asian guy, Sharut, okay, he was at the Temple of the Jedi.
See, the fact that I don't remember their names kind of speaks to what I'm saying here.
Yeah, I don't. That's weird, man. But I mean, what's given to you for the character, they have to do this. Boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
I mean, it's nothing against the movie. I don't want to say that it's a bad thing. It's just
your personal take on it.
Yeah, to me, it's not enough for me to be like, oh no, that sucks for them. For those two characters, at least.
I see. I don't see it as that sucks
for them.
If
anything, I felt more emotionally destroyed, I guess, if you want to say that, over the robot, because he had like a clear little arc in which he, like, well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, I grew attached to the robot more than those two dudes, and it's not because they're not cool. I mean, the Asian dude was freaking badass, but the other dude, I don't know. It's just something about him.
It's what I'm trying to say here in terms of me, and why I responded so much to these characters, is that they became like Jin, selfless in this cause. And you could say in a lot of way that the Asian guy was already selfless because of his faith, but everybody else became selfless in their cause. Bodhi, the pilot, everybody volunteered to what essentially was death. It's not their deaths that is tragic. It's the moving nature of their sacrifice.
I get why it's supposed to be that way, but in my opinion, the only one that really was that way, and again, in my opinion, is sadly the robot, the pilot, and what's her face. The other two fell a little flat to me. The Asian dude's sacrifice was cool. But I didn't really get that, like, oh, man, feeling, I guess.
That's nutty.
That is a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Because, like, again, in my opinion, they were kind of, like, not in there as much as I would want them to be, I guess.
See, that's the thing. If we would have had, like, a Lucas approach to this, and I'm
No.
Hold on. Let me finish that statement.
No, wait. I don't want to come off as saying this movie sucks or these characters suck. I'm just saying.
I know you're not.
To me, I'm like.
I know you're not, but if we had a more broad approach to these characters, it would have been a completely different.
I don't want that.
Movie.
I'm not saying let's bring Lucas in and be like, I am gonna sacrifice myself. It's just in my it might change when I see it again. In my opinion, those two characters felt a little flat to me. The other ones were great, but those two kind of fell a little flat for me.
Okay, well that's freaking weird. But anyway, that's there. There's that. Final, or was that your final thought on the movie?
No, I don't even know how it got to that. I'm just saying. Again, it might change. I don't know. Final thoughts is great.
Okay, well, Guntik hates the movie.
No! What the flip? I never said I hated it. Final thoughts is great. But I have to see it again.
Okay. What's your rating on it initially?
Like a 9. It might go up. I don't know.
That's pretty good for a movie where you hate everyone.
I didn't hate anyone!
And your rating?
My rating, and this is, again, underscore this is coming from a guy that pretty much dislikes all the Star Wars movies. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have any real attachment to them except for Empire. I love this movie. 10 out of 10, man. It is awesome. It is, I mean, of course, like any movie, it has flaws here and there, but you can overlook any of that. Yeah, I can't even think of one because it's such an awe-inspiring movie, and it does it in such a unique and distinct way to the series. It sticks out in a good way. It resets up everything you already knew in a fantastic way. The actors across the board were fantastic. The characters were awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
The effects were amazing. I can't even think of anything more exciting than that third act. It was awesome across the board for me. I'm shocked, man. I'm shocked that I'm loving on Star Wars so much.
Dude, I think
for the first time ever.
I'm starting to think there's something wrong with me because
You need to watch it again because
this might be a case of you were too excited going in.
No, I
no.
wasn't. I think it was, honestly, I do think it was.
I think the environment that he was in at the moment kind of affected that. But yeah, you definitely need to watch it again because
it's one of those cases where like I can recognize it's a great movie and it's badass, right? But I never got like a tingly moment until Darth Vader came out because that shit was badass.
That's crazy. I got like 10.
Well, let me say it's because
there was moments where I almost cried. I was so excited.
I think it's because. Honestly, I think it was because I was so detached from the movie because I kept hearing these jerkweeds talking the whole time. And he can attest to it. I was freaking shifting and staring at their faces at all times.
I'm just going to point out that I was right next to the aforementioned
Yeah, but you're
jerkweeds.
deaf!
But, you know... Yeah, that's weird, man.
You need to watch it again.
That's weird.
I do need to watch it again.
That's
and then
weird.
If we can discuss it. But my point of view is... I gave it a 9.5 out of 10 in my initial review. I'm going to drop it down to 9 out of 10 only because of the fact that, you know, I need to see it again as well. Because, I mean, everything about it was surprising in the fact that we knew going in what the plot was, what the story was, but it did it so perfectly and so well. I'm not sure why I'm dropping it down by 0.5.
I don't think there was any surprising bits.
There wasn't any surprising bits, but it just was executed perfectly.
Yeah, the material is not surprising because we know what's going on or what's going to happen. It's the way they make it happen, the way the actors bring it to life. It's like it's surprising in an invigorating way. Yeah, that's why I'm so excited about. I'm like, man, I can't believe one that I'm loving Star Wars, and two that the stuff that I know is gonna happen is making me go, man, wow. I was floored, man. Like I said, some moments just almost brought me to tears with excitement.
I will say this: I think this is the best Star Wars movie released so far, including Episode 7.
You know, that's crazy, but I'm gonna say I always thought Empire was the best. And it almost feels sacrilegious saying this. I'm gonna say it is the best Star Wars movie released.
Yeah, I can't.
He needs to see it again.
Right now, currently, I can't say that. It's probably the second best. I still love Empire, dude.
Yeah,
and that's not something to actually frown upon.
Yeah.
Empire is a great movie.
Pretty sure not a lot of people are gonna go, this is better than Empire. But I'm definitely gonna be one of them. And I did love Empire.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I hate this movie. Like,
he hates it.
No, I would say it's a better movie than Force Awakens, and I loved Force Awakens. Force Awakens is fun as hell.
It was pretty.
But this is way better.
This is structurally and story wise and
like,
character wise.
Yeah,
it's a far better
there's
movie.
a lot more positives than there is negatives for me. I don't even think the stuff I said about the characters, despite making it seem like I want to kill them. Apparently. Yeah. I don't think that's a negative. I think it was fine in this movie. I don't think they needed to explain too much about them. It just personally for me, I didn't really feel too attached to them. Again, that might change when I see it again, because damn, that lady was freaking commenting on everything. When Darth Vader came out and kicked some ass and they flew away, she goes, "That was it?"
Yeah. You see, personally, I think Darth Vader was in it more than I thought. I thought it was gonna be like a cameo.
His appearance was awesome, though.
It was pretty tough.
When it's in the dark and he's like, and then he freaking like slashers his way through that hallway.
I tried to explain that, but you stopped for some reason. So yes,
that explanation alone might tell you why he's confused about this movie at the moment.
Yes,
it was good,
but his appearance is pretty amazing.
Horror movie like.
For the first time ever, to me, Darth Vader was physically menacing on top of being menacing because of his presence.
The thing that I like so much of it is because you see, like, when the hallway goes dark and then the saber, or like you hear his breathing and the saber comes out and everybody's freaking out. And they're trying to get out and shit. You see why people fear him. And then he starts freaking kicking ass and everybody's like, "Oh shit!" And that shit was badass, dude.
It seems that the only parts you like are the ones attached to the original. I mean, directly attached to
the original. What the flip? No! Trilogy. I hated the... Well, I didn't hate the C-3PO. C-3PO kind of like...
I hated it. That scene.
No,
I hate C-3PO. I hate R2-D2, although he does some...
9 out of 10.
How that seems like a review? Okay, so generally, me and the Guardian love it, and Guntik hates it. So there you go. No, that's been our conversation about Rogue One.
I don't hate it, but I want to take I kind of want to take like a more like I don't want to suck its dick because if we all sucked its dick, it wouldn't be interesting. You know, there's got to be some conversation.
I
here,
will
boys.
gladly suck its dick. And considering that I've so vehemently hated George Lucas,
I will suck its dick all night long. But if we're all sucking dick, then who's gonna be the one that's getting its dick sucked? I don't know where I'm going with it.
yeah, that turned weird real quick.
He's confused. He liked it. I liked it.
We
It's
all
a really
liked
good movie.
it. Watch
We
the movie.
recommend go watching
You probably already watched it. Freaking click over to his review. Click over to
Probably
Black
not.
Cat. We'll see you next time.
This is Ahab.
Depressed
the
now.
Goontick. He's depressed. A depressed Cthulhu is probably bad. This is the Guardian signing out. Peace out.
Man, that was a long one.